Hi everyone, it's Ken here from OK Portugal. It's an absolutely stunning day here today. We're halfway between Castelo Branco and Fundão, near a town called Elcanes. And I'm joined by Carissa and Iwan, who are a lovely couple from Wales, who I met only 5 months ago. I was looking for someone to redesign our logo, and I came across Carissa's Instagram page. She's an illustrator. She has the most amazing artwork, and I contacted her and asked her if we could commission an artwork from her, and ended up with a logo that we absolutely love. So you must check out her Instagram page and her Etsy shop. She sells a whole bunch of prints. I believe you can also commission works from her, but she's very, very busy at the moment. She's very busy. Well, her hands are full because they're busy building their lovely homestead here. So how did you guys end up in Portugal?
Well, I think it's you can blame the current pandemic, really.
Pretty much.
We're here. We decided last year, whilst both working from home, that we could do this from anywhere. So why not try and move somewhere where it rains a little less? And then we just started looking. We kind of Googled land in Portugal and saw how cheap it was. And we decided in September that we should go for it. And then we got here in October. We didn't think too long about it.
Before the second lockdown or whatever it was.
Yeah, we just kind of went for it. And then we found this property. We'd looked at a few online, set up to go and look at them. We just went for like the cheapest we could find, and they just weren't quite right. And then we found this one through one of the estate agents in Castelo Branco, and yeah. So
nice.
The rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history.
So you guys used to do a little bit of van life. You used to travel
a couple
around.
of years ago.
Camper. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, 2018
2018.
we did.
Okay.
We did about 4 months around Europe in our tiny little panel van, and then we did another couple of months. We did a grape harvest to try and get some money
In Germany.
to carry on, but then we just ended up going back home, didn't we?
Okay.
So then, yeah, we
Yes,
kind of
set the tone for the rest of Portugal, really.
Yeah.
Had you been to Portugal before?
No.
I've been to the Algarve when I was about 16 with some friends, but that was all I knew of Portugal.
We'd done bits and bobs of Spain, hadn't we?
Yeah.
And kind of fell in love with the culture down here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
But-
the weather.
And we didn't get to Portugal, so it's probably another reason why we decided to come here, because we wanted to explore Portugal.
It was on our original plan when we were doing our sort of 4-month trip, and then I think the weather was really bad actually, so then we turned and went north instead. But yeah, when we kind of started looking, and we just were researching and reading about Portugal and how everyone's so friendly and the culture and the weather, and we were just like, well, let's just go for it. We're not risking too much.
Price of the land obviously makes a big difference.
We were renting back at home, so we were like, well, if we can find a plot of land that is the same as a year's rent and bills, then, and we live here just for a year and then we sell it on, then the pressure just wasn't there. We weren't doing, I know a lot of people, they sell their house and all their belongings, but because we were just looking for something so small, we were kind of able to be a bit brash.
Yeah, it was pretty win-win, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
You are pretty much off-grid. You've got no running water, you've got no electricity.
Nope, so
you've got no sewerage.
Nope.
Yeah.
We've got, it's been a learning curve.
Yeah, and some.
We've got 2 wells. We'll get the water tested. So we just.
So this one here, the one that we're sitting on.
This one we've got a generator so we can pump out the water to water the garden. We're obviously not drinking it yet. We go and collect about a week's worth of drinking water from a local town.
So you've just got like bottles that you basically collect from a fountain or a spring or
Yeah,
something?
we've got a couple of 20-litre bottles. I think we go through about 80 litres a week.
Okay.
In drinking and doing the washing up and things like that. And then we will eventually invest in getting a solar power system set up. Currently we just have the van battery, we can charge our phones. We do have a generator so we can sort of run some power tools and my printer and scanner.
Get stuff charged.
Yeah, and then we have a composting toilet for sewerage.
So when you moved here, you've got no electricity, no water. You had a very basic building, but you couldn't really live inside there. And it was winter time.
It was winter.
The weather was bad. I mean, tell us about that. What was it like?
It was grim.
It was a very testing time, and I definitely had moments where I questioned whether we'd made the right decision. I did not know Portugal could get as cold as it did.
Yeah.
Luckily, we had some down sleeping bags, which saved us, because at night it was just going, -2, -3.
Yeah.
The van is not very well insulated.
Condensation was freezing.
Yeah, so we'd be getting dripped on in the night, and then it didn't stop raining, and the little barn we have, the roof just leaked. And actually the very first day that we came to the land,
we got the van stuck.
We got the van stuck getting in because the access isn't great. That's how we met our neighbours. They helped us to unstick the van.
Thanks, Paolo.
Yeah. And then because the access was so bad and it was raining that whole weekend, we didn't leave the land for the first 3 days. And it was a trying time.
It was a testing time.
Yeah.
It was,
sure.
yes.
So since then, in 5 months, and only 5 months, you guys have done so much. I can remember the first time that I visited you. You didn't have a vegetable garden. You didn't have all these little vegetable garden plots that you have. There's a lot of new trees here. You've even put up a building over here, which is just behind the cameras. So now you're not sleeping in the van anymore. You've actually got this
luxury.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a few priorities that kind of were like, how can we make it so that it's actually livable here? One was definitely getting out of the van, because it was just, if you don't have a good night's sleep, then the rest of your day's ruined. So we've never really done anything like this before. We just found some, there was a guy on
good YouTube videos.
Yeah,
thank God for YouTube.
Yeah. And obviously, there's a big planning process if you're going to build a proper house, so it has to be temporary and lots of things like that. But we really enjoyed it, actually.
Yeah, it was amazing
quite proud
fun.
of what we achieved.
In 5 months. It's incredible.
It hasn't fallen down yet. So.
And it's lovely to sleep in. And it's not quite finished, but we kind of had it good enough, and they were like, right, let's get out of the van and get in there.
Yeah, we probably did about 6 weeks, absolutely solid 40, 50 hour week works.
Wow.
Of work.
Yeah.
And so as soon as we finished it and we had somewhere to sleep, that was it. Let's just have 4 weeks of rest and enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
And
amazing.
Yeah. So,
and the main sort of barn buildings that you've got, they're actually habitable. So it's not just like an agricultural building.
Yeah.
So you guys have got plans to turn that into like a living quarters, or are you going to keep it like a kitchen or a...
Yeah, so we've got the main barn, which is pre-1951, and this is something we've also had to learn. You think you can just go buy a plot of land in Portugal and you're fine, but there's actually certain rules and bureaucracy. There is a relaxation about some people living on big rural properties if you buy a few acres.
Especially in this area.
Yeah, and you're living in a yurt or a movable building. But we were also obviously the mindset that if we invest into it and then we want to move back to the UK, we want to be able to sell it on. So it was quite important before we put too much into it that we knew everything was by the book. So we were talking to an architect, and she was just like, oh yeah, but it's in, we actually had it with the deeds. They gave us a piece of paper that we obviously didn't understand, that the camera had come and seen that the building was pre-1951 and it was habitation exempt, so that was a huge relief.
Amazing. Well done.
We're really lucky actually with what we've got for the price we got it for.
We timed it quite well.
Yeah, definitely.
Prices are definitely increasing now with Brexit, and because Brexit just came past, and now with the coronavirus, I've noticed that prices are just shooting up.
Everyone wants to run away.
Exactly.
And it's a good idea.
It's a very good idea. Do you feel like you made any mistakes, or that you have any regrets so far?
No, not at all.
No, not really.
I think the only thing I would have been better prepared for was the coldness of the winter. And I don't know if I would do it any differently, because now it's we know the worst of it and we got through that. And next winter's going to be better because we've already done so much. So it's kind of the best way round, even though it was the hardest, was to...
Yeah, when it was happening, we might not have thought that, but it's the wonders of hindsight,
it was
isn't it?
really challenging.
Yeah, it was quite tough.
But now we're here and the spring has come and we've got this lovely building to sleep in, and we've fixed up the barn a bit, and we've got all these projects and ideas and the biggest garden you could ever hope for to play in. Then now I don't think we have any.
It's pretty cushy now.
We often just kind of sit having your morning cup of tea and you're like, it's pretty good, isn't it? Like, how have we managed this?
Amazing.
Yeah.
No, it's a lovely plot you guys have here. It's very sheltered. I've found, we live about 10 kilometers away from you guys, and it can be exceptionally windy at our place, and when we've come here it's completely sheltered.
We're in kind of a bit of a dip. I think as well, one of the things that we'd originally, when we first started looking, was for quite a big plot.
We were looking at places that were like 2 hectares and stuff, and the land management would have been crazy.
Well, and it was just, a plot of land that hadn't been cultivated at all.
Yeah, no building, pine forest, eucalyptus forest.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I think we're really happy with, because this is just over 2,000 metres square, and there's a plot next to us that's seemingly abandoned, so we kind of think maybe in the future we could always go bigger, but once you've got a massive plot, you can't go smaller.
True, yeah.
So I think in the end, we've kind of managed to...
Yeah, land on our feet.
Yeah, we're really happy with it. And when we were first looking, and we were just looking at these wilderness, and it was raining quite a lot when we came in October, and we just suddenly, with our tiny van, it's the most difficult days are when it rains.
Yes.
We were like, we really need to have some sort of building, even if it's just for storage
some
or
proper shelter
to cook in. That's why we chose this one. And
yeah, pretty happy.
Yeah,
brilliant. And in terms of your neighbours, because you've, similar to us, you've got a long rectangular piece of land.
Yeah.
So you've got some neighbouring plots. You say that the one on this side is pretty much like an abandoned plot.
Yeah.
But you've got neighbours around, so you've made friends with a lot of them.
Yes.
All of them, I think.
Yeah. So we've only seen the couple behind us once, and
they're in their 80s, aren't they?
Yeah, and it was really hard to communicate with them because obviously our Portuguese is
in 5 months. It's a difficult language.
It's a tough language.
Yeah, it is. We're trying, but obviously, especially I think in a rural area as well, you tend to have a stronger accent and things like that. So we've only met them once, but they were really friendly and lovely, and Frankie loved them.
I noticed that in your kitchen area, you've got a board where you've started writing down Portuguese words that you're learning.
Yeah,
it's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's quite good when you're seeing it every day. That it kind of sticks a bit better, because I'll be like, I'll remember that, and then I'll be like, oh gosh, I can't remember.
Beware of the dog.
Yes. We're learning how to say she's tame, because she'll just run down the track barking at people.
At ankle height, terrifying.
Yeah, she could bite your toes off. And then our other neighbour, it's all agricultural land. We don't actually have any neighbours living here.
Okay.
But they tend to come every day.
Yeah.
A couple of them from Castelo Branco, and then Calado lives in the town, our local town. A lot of the older generation of the Portuguese speak French, and I lived in France for a couple of years, so I'm able to communicate with them, which has been really handy, because he had to come in, pull the van out.
Yeah,
we got stuck
on a separate occasion.
Oh, wow.
And then we've got this absolutely lovely neighbour, Lourdes, I think that's how I say her name.
Okay.
And she'll just come and she'll just bring us oranges and eggs, and she's just like our little
she's like our
grandmother or an auntie kind of thing, just looking after us. And
did she initiate contact, or did you guys go and knock on their door and say, hello, we've moved in? Or?
No, they came first. I think she came and just gave us eggs. She just gives, and I try and give her stuff back, but obviously because we're only just getting started, I don't have much to give, so I'll be like, here's some lettuce, and then she'll just give me, and I'm like, no, I don't want any more, I want to give to you.
She's going to start bringing you sheep.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So she just kind of comes each day, and then she invited us for a coffee.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. She invited us for a coffee and a
jarapigo.
And a jarapiga, which is a liqueur they make here. They mix it with the grape juice. And what's the thing called, the alcohol?
Eau de vie, I think.
Yeah, aguardente.
Aguardente, yeah. It's really strong stuff.
It's so good.
It's kind of like moonshine.
Yeah. But it's mixed with grape juice, so it's really sweet. Okay. So we'll go and have a coffee, and then she's like, oh, do you want an aguardente? And then we're like, oh, go on then.
And then an afternoon nap.
But she's absolutely lovely, and is really patient with our attempts to communicate. And it's really helping to learn the Portuguese, actually, because you can't, when you go to the shops here, everyone speaks English, and I don't know how they do it, but the Portuguese are just
Really good.
Really good with languages.
Yeah.
But because she doesn't speak English, it's really good because then I'm forced to speak Portuguese.
Yes.
And
then you get
Portuguese.
to practice.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been really good, and because she has that patience and that encouragement, whereas some people just kind of, you know, it is a painful experience trying to like communicate with someone. But yeah, no, our neighbours have been incredible. I can't believe how generous they are.
You know, everyone says that, and it's true. I mean, we've had the same experience.
Exactly.
And you know, after living in a couple of countries, I must say this is definitely one of the most friendliest.
Yeah.
You know, definitely Central Portugal. It's been great. So I know everyone wants to have a look at this farm that we've just been speaking about. The small holdings. So would you give us a tour?
Of course.
Excellent.
Nice one.
It's just over 2,000 metres square. Which is kind of perfect. We really like the size. If anything, sometimes it feels too big when you're like, we need to do this, we need to cut the grass.
You got to cut the grass.
We've got loads of olive trees, which are just such a beautiful tree. I love that they're evergreen. And lots of vines. We're really excited to make some wine. We have 2 wells, one at the bottom and one up here. And loads of quince trees, which were really beautiful when they came into blossom.
An apple tree and a pear tree.
Yes, well, that's the thing is, because we've only been here since December, as each season unfolds, we discover something new about the land. So there's some trees that we don't know what they are until the fruit comes.
Well, we've got trees that we still don't have leaves on, so we don't know what they are. Maybe a plum.
Yeah, we don't know yet. And then we have a couple of really old, beautiful cork oak trees. And then a few little saplings around. And then as you come up the land, come up to what will eventually be our home. We have an old hay barn. It's currently just a tool shed, basically, and very full of hay. We're going to repoint all the outside.
Wow, it's got a really high ceiling.
Yeah, so I think with the way that it works, because it's basically such an old building, we can't change the floor plan, but we can go up a metre. So we might do that and put a pointed roof and maybe a mezzanine.
Wow.
We don't really know. We're a bit far, you know, at least a year away from working on here.
It's got some beautiful stonework though. I mean, these are some, let me try and stand back here a bit. These are some huge bits of stone, and once this is all pointed up, it's going to look fantastic.
It's going to be gorgeous, and the walls are so thick, so I think it'll keep it really nice and cool in the summer.
Of course, yeah.
We've got a lot of learning to do with.
It's got quite a lot of space. I think it's quite difficult to see on the camera, but actually, you know, especially if you're used to van life, this is a mansion.
Oh my gosh!
This is a huge space,
Absolutely.
And then you've also got the next door area, which you're currently using as like your kitchen.
Okay. We can go have a look.
Yeah.
So, this was actually our first project, because when we first bought the land, there was just an old barn door with no glass on it, and it was sort of rotting, and the floor was just mud.
It's like centimetre gaps between the bits of wood.
Yeah.
So you could see outside. Wow. It was quite nice.
Well, you could hardly though.
So now you've laid like a patio area. And there was, and these doors are new.
Don't look too closely. We built them. And one of the things we were finding, because it was so wet in the winter, our only place that we could take shelter was in here, and you'd have to close the doors to keep the rain out, and it was just dark, you don't have electricity, and it was just depressing, really, to be honest. And even though our first priority was to get out of the van, this became the actual priority. So we put the cabin build on hold, and we built these, and it was really good actually to do it as a first project. We learned
gain a bit of confidence for the building.
Exactly, and there's no huge pressure on it. These are just perspex, which it was just a massive sheet that we cut in half.
Wow, okay.
And
so you've literally built all these doors by hand.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all
Excellent.
just wood. It's all just these wooden beams and glue and lots of screws.
Nice. Does the job.
Yeah.
I like the little curtain here just to keep the sun out.
Yeah, and try and keep some of the flies out as they're starting to come alive now.
So how long? Because you guys have only been here for 5 months.
Yeah.
And you've managed to do all of this, and you've also done something else, which we'll get to in a moment here, which is your sleeping quarters.
A little sneak
But
peek.
let's have a look in here.
Yeah,
Amazing.
come on in.
Oh, kitchen.
So with the way the building is, so I think this must have been like an animal enclosure because it's just the lower wall that is the pre-1951.
They class it as an agricultural support building,
Okay.
don't they?
Yeah, so we're learning so much about
yeah.
So the breeze blocks have been put in by the previous owner, and we're talking with our architect about what we can and can't do. We may make this so it's more like an outdoor kitchen with a roof on, and like a pizza oven so we can keep warm here and cook in it, and kind of use it like an indoor-outdoor space.
Okay.
But yeah, we just fixed the roof because it still leaks a little
Just
bit.
about.
So you've put some insulation foam in there just to basically
Yeah.
keep out the drafts and the wind
Yeah.
and everything.
It was just like things that were emergency
Yeah.
jobs to do that are just kind of we've just thrown together with the plan of like actually doing things more thoroughly in the future. And this it just works as the space that we need it to be. So
Yeah.
if it's raining, we can come in here. We've got a little gas heater.
Okay,
Bring
yeah.
our chairs.
For winter, this is like one of the first things you buy when you're in
game
Portugal.
changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we built some little cabinets to build a sink because washing up in a bucket is not very fun.
Yep.
And we just have a gas hob. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
This again, I think we'll do when we do next door in a year's time.
From what we're gathering, the roofs or the ceiling is becoming quite a priority because it's the asbestos cement stuff.
Yeah.
The fibre cement, yeah.
Fibre cement. So, I mean, we're not planning on sleeping in it until obviously the roofs are done and it's a bit more sealed anyway.
Yeah.
But thanks for the advice.
Yeah. Well, there's
Yeah.
a little lizard. It's just on the beam. It's just here.
Okay. Oh, yes, okay. He's just shot off there.
Yeah, we share this space with a bit of wildlife. We do actually have a snake living in the roof as
You got
well.
a snake in the roof,
He's
yeah.
up there somewhere.
That's why there's
Okay.
a bit of light coming through because we're
Wow.
sort of trying to poke him. We'll give him some space to get out. I don't know if he was stuck there.
So snakes in Portugal are not that big a deal because they're not that dangerous. I think there's only one dangerous species of snake,
Yeah.
the Latest viper, yeah. So that's actually quite nice. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Some good pest control for us.
And what was it? A whip?
A horseshoe whip
Horseshoe
snake.
whip snake, so they're non-venomous. So
Had a red belly. It's cool.
yeah, and hopefully he'll eat any mice that try and
It's all
make it.
very exciting for Welsh country bumpkins.
Yeah.
This is one of Carissa's artworks here,
Yeah.
which I absolutely love. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. So that print is available on your Etsy store.
Yes, it is. Yes. I'm sure Ken will put it in the description.
I will, for sure, definitely. So from in here now, with this door that you've built, you've got all of this light coming in.
It's an absolute game changer because before it was just dark.
It was
and,
pitch black at 11 a.m.
Yeah, and the roof would just leak, so it was just wet and dark.
And it was raining every single day. It was
Yeah.
cold.
Felt like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And we were like, we left Wales for the
I
sunshine.
think if we hadn't done 30 Welsh winters, then it would have been a lot harder than it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
It was easy, really.
It does have a really nice feel to it, even though it's very like rustic.
That's exactly the right
That's
word.
exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, yeah.
And I think as well, it's like you can envision the potential of the space once we've repointed the walls. It's got a beautiful roof on it. We've got either whether we'll put a log burner in or just have like this outdoor inside space, and we'll tile the floor to keep it cold. I think it's got so much potential. So
Yeah.
it feels really good.
A big bread oven would be lovely.
A big bread oven, yeah, one of those Portuguese bread ovens, yeah.
We currently can't make pizza, so that's pretty disappointing. And then once we finally built the door and the patio, because the rain would just pour, so we were just having mud all over the floor as well.
Oh no, okay, yeah.
Then our next project was the cabin, so we could get out of the van. Don't look too closely because it's very imperfect. But basically we just have laid some breeze blocks with a little bit of cement, and then we've got 8 pallets.
Eight wooden pallets.
8 pallets all screwed together. So
that makes up the floor section.
yes.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Together.
How big? It's 4 meters by 2 or something.
Yeah, 4 meters,
4 by 2.
25.
And then it's just like a wooden frame. Look, you can see the frame inside because we've not finished the inside. And then this is just painted MDF.
Okay.
Super lightweight.
Our second door after we mastered door making.
Wow, well done.
Works a lot better than the first one.
Yeah. So you can see currently the framing still. So this is how we built it. Was built these frames and then put them up and then put a roof on. And yeah, we will insulate and put some MDF in here to keep it cool, really.
So this room now is basically your sleeping quarters.
It is.
It's just a bedroom at the moment, isn't
Yes,
it?
Okay.
and because of lockdown we've not been able to buy a bed, but luckily some very kind friends, Ken and Gina, they have lent us their spare mattresses. So
It looks very cozy.
it's a really nice space to sleep
Yeah,
in.
especially since we put the floor and the ceiling in.
Yeah.
That definitely changed.
When we were first sleeping in here, because we put the roof on, there was still like gaps, so you'd get a beautiful sunrise coming through, but
Wow,
it was
okay.
still like being outside basically, and it's really cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's compared to the van where you're getting dripped on the nice condensation.
It's flat.
Yeah, flat, and the size of the bed, like the bed in the van is like almost a single mattress really. So now we've got 2 bigger than single mattresses. It's like
Yeah. Well, once you've got all of that space, it's going to be hard to go back.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to have to buy a super
A very
king
big
size
bed.
bed
Super king,
or
yeah.
whatever they're called.
Yeah.
So we've got a beautiful view just coming out the window here, looking at the rest of the property, and just beautiful light coming in.
And it's nice from bed, you can see out the window and you just see the sky and the olive tree branches and the pines, so you can see
Yes.
what the weather is and whether it's worth getting out of bed or not.
Yes, okay. So basically you get to see in this direction and you...
Cool, so we'll show you our lounge next. This is where we spend a lot of our time when we're not working really hard. Yeah, we've just got a few pallets to sit on, and these are the cushions from the van that we used to sleep on. Now they work perfectly here, and then we can have a little fire.
Wow, so you've got like a little barbecue area here.
Yeah,
I see there's lots of bonsais. There's a theme going here.
there is. I like trees.
Yes.
Big trees and small trees.
Yeah.
And you've planted some well, like, you know, you've got an acer there, you've got...
Acer, 2 peaches, there's 2 rose bushes, there's a few other flowers and stuff. And we've got 2 Cork Oaks, baby ones, that are sticking out of there.
Ah, lovely. And your little barbecue area here, I like this. Everyone knows that I'm really into my braais.
Full of cigarette ends at the moment. So don't look too close.
That's okay.
Yeah,
And we've got lots of vines coming up here.
Yeah, it's like summer up here, but winter down at the bottom. So like we've even got baby grapes. We've got
Yes.
some actual flowers.
Excellent. And then this is the big well that we were sitting on earlier.
Yeah.
And there's some frogs living in there.
It's dropped by about 18 inches in the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks since the rain stopped.
And we were going to get it cleaned, but apparently this is duckweed, and it's actually quite good to stop algae growing.
And the mosquitoes from laying eggs inside it.
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently so.
That's interesting to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but we will eventually properly clean
Yeah,
it.
and maybe cover it if we're going to be drinking it
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
think at the end of summer is when it's lowest, and then you pump it out, and then we'll get someone in to clean it, I think.
It's God knows when the last time it was cleaned was.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, who knows what's in the bottom there? There
Yeah.
could be all sorts of stuff.
yeah. We've had a magnet fish there, and there's nothing metal down there anyway.
Yeah.
There's no tractors down there. So
And then you've got like a water tank on this side here.
yeah, reservoir, but
it's
unfortunately
broken.
it has a massive crack in it.
Oh no.
So it's currently
Leaks
our
everywhere.
Our greenhouse.
We have tried filling it a couple of times, but
there's crack and it goes all along the floor.
yeah, straight through the floor.
So I think we're actually going to smash it.
You're going to smash it?
Yeah.
Well, it's cheap brick. I don't know if
Okay.
you can see on this side. You can just about see the brick, and it's just concreted on the side.
Okay.
So we're thinking if we just get rid of it.
Because if we try to repair it and then fill it and then it splits when it's full, I think it could just be a bit chaotic.
And we want out here to be like a nice sitting, living area.
Yeah, we end up sitting at here most of the time.
Yeah, you get
it's
morning
a really
sun.
nice place to have a morning coffee.
Yes.
Acquired this rose bush.
Apparently, one of our neighbours was telling us that they always grow roses around here if you've got vines, because if the rose gets sick, it's a precursor for the vines getting sick, so you can tell. From the
Really?
roses, yeah, but they're beautiful and they smell amazing.
Wow.
So,
I've never heard that before.
No.
Yeah.
I'd not either.
Amazing.
So yeah, because they've got this beautiful old rose bush on their land as well. They were telling me about it.
And I see Frankie's looking at the frogs.
Yes. She's not fallen in. She fell in the bottom one.
She jumped.
She jumped in it basically. But luckily that one it's because the land slopes down. It's at the water level, so it's not dropped in there.
So you were able to just pick her up and pull her out.
Yeah.
Whereas if she fell in here, it would be quite a
I
thing.
think I'd have to jump in.
She's she obviously knows. She's learnt her lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. But this well, at the end of winter, it was
summer.
Sorry?
Summer or winter?
End of winter, it was so high that we could scoop out the water to fill our watering can. So it's dropped because of the heat and the lack of rain. We had no rain in March, so that was kind of a crazy
At the end of summer,
Yeah.
it was so low that you would probably be lucky to get out of it if you fell in.
Yeah.
It was a good 4 or 5 foot lower down than it is now.
But you still have water, so there's...
Yeah, there's water year round.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're very deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this one's 7 metres.
There's wells everywhere. So there's
Yeah.
one, this is the
Literally right
neighbours. Got one just here.
Okay.
There's
2 more
one
there.
just here and one behind it, and then there's another one in this small plot there. And then there's just wells everywhere.
Wow, so lots of water on the land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Excellent.
there's a river just here, and it seems to all run. We've got a little stream along the bottom, and it all runs to the river. So
Okay.
yeah, a lot of water.
So what's going on here? You've got like a tomato herb garden.
It's going to be a tomato forest. Is the plan.
We eat a lot of tomatoes.
A lot.
So we're trying to grow as many as we can.
We try to preserve them, aren't we? Ferment them.
Yeah, we've seen like a fermentation method as a way of preservation. And then this is the very first thing I planted. I bought some garlic when we were still in Wales because we had an allotment. And I brought it with me in the van, so as soon as we had the land I planted the garlic. So it's been pretty happy.
It's doing well, and you've got a lot of sort of dried grass mulch on the top.
Yeah, we're mulching it.
Okay.
The soil here has been ploughed a lot, so it's very sandy. It really needs a lot of organic matter putting back into it. So we're really working on trying to revive the soil. So lots of mulch and compost and things. So hopefully we'll give it a lease of life again. We won't be ploughing it. That's for sure. So this is our outside bathroom. We've just put up some fences, we've got some rainwater collection, and we have a pump shower, so this bit sits in the water, and it's run off battery, USB.
12 volt.
But it's actually pretty
It's
good.
amazing.
And
Compared
better
to a
than
bucket.
yeah, we were using that bucket like as a bath before.
Okay.
And then we just have our compost loo here, and then it's like a little maze.
So the compost loo's on this side here.
Yeah, it's it's called a dry loo, and we empty it. It's not actually a composting loo that's composting now. And then it's really nice when you have a shower because you've got the sun on you. It keeps you even warmer, so it's really nice. But it cools you down at the same time. And this tree was full of blossom, so it's just really nice to be showering under the blossom.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Huh.
So we're pretty chuffed to have a shower because washing in a bucket is not fun. But I think we'll update this as well. I think we'll always have a compost loo. There's like loads of different. It's funny when you live off grid, the things you end up talking about. But yeah, you can get like vermicomposting ones that actually flush into a composting worming bed. Yeah, but when you start researching about it and like where your sewage goes, it kind of makes you think about things differently. So after the cabin was built, this was the next.
Yeah, this is the next priority.
It's definitely been, with the pandemic, just you're a keen climber, aren't you? And like for a year you didn't climb.
Well, lockdowns. Like, for some reason you're not allowed to go into the hills by yourself and climb on a rock.
Yeah.
But we won't get into that.
So it was, one of the amazing things about having such a big space, a big piece of land, is you can do something like this. So yeah, you've built this, and you even made some of the holds from
olive trees.
Because it's a hard wood, and we had to chop a few of the.
Oh wow! So this is actually from your.
Yeah.
All of the wooden ones. Actually, that's a curtain rail.
Yeah, we had to chop off a bit of the curtain rail.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I love like this little one here.
Yeah, with the box still on.
That's great. So this is how you keep fit and healthy on here.
Yeah.
Keep your grip strength going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good
and
stuff.
It's nice now we're on the continent that it's easier to go.
Yeah, go travel.
To Fontainebleau or Albarracin for good climbing spots. So once the pandemic's over a bit more, we'll be able to travel more. This is our compost bed. Just made from some pallets. You can get pallets everywhere.
Nice. Okay.
And then this is my very first vegetable patch. But I've moved down onto the plateau, so I planted some peas and things which are just coming into flower. But I think now my plan is that this will just be the fruit section of the garden. So I've got a lot of strawberries, got some melon seedlings that I'll put in.
Got a raspberry.
One single raspberry came because 2 of them died. So I'm going to buy maybe a couple more because I know they really spread once they get going.
Some potatoes.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got strawberry flowers.
Oh.
Coming up. And I've had one red strawberry and I was just waiting patiently and something got it before me.
No.
Yes. But it's fine.
You've got another red one up just by the cabin here, I saw.
It's just the other side of it's still a little green. So
Okay.
I'm trying to be patient.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe you should have that before that happens again.
Yeah. This is our raspberry.
Raspberry bush, okay.
Raspberry flowers.
Yeah. I spotted them earlier.
Lovely.
And we planted a load of daffodil bulbs in December as well, so it was really nice as the spring came, they came up.
Yes.
We being Welsh, daffodils are very important to us.
Yes.
This got really muddy in the winter with all the rain, so that's why we just put a little bit of stuff in here. So we've got another potato bed here. I've got a lot of potatoes growing, so I might be giving that all to our neighbours. And I've just planted some calendula down the middle. I've got some beans and carrots just starting here, lettuce and some onions, courgettes, and I've planted some sweet corn and beans in here because I was reading about the 3 sisters where the sweet corn grows and then the beans grow around it and then the courgette covers the ground. So trying that out. A lot more potatoes, some beans that our neighbour gave us that come from Lardosa, which is one of the local towns, and they have that roundabout with the big bean, so they're black-eyed beans. A couple of blueberry plants, some leeks, some sunflowers that Gina gave me the seeds of from last year, carrots, some butter beans, lots of salad leaves, more onions, peas, and then just a few like little random bits and bobs, like one fennel plant and a couple of cabbages. So yeah, hopefully we'll have an abundance to eat from. We've been eating a lot of salad already because that's growing amazingly here. But yeah, the more I'm quite interested in sort of sustainability and looking after the planet, so the more of your own food you can produce, the better it is. And we get to spend more time outside and you save money eventually.
Always a good one. Quite exciting having a a different climate again to
Yeah.
grow stuff in. Like we can grow watermelons, we can grow peaches, we can grow...
And olives, like
Olives.
we eat a lot of olive oil, so to be able to produce our own olive oil is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
We currently have some OK Portugal olive oil,
We
which
do.
is very
Yes.
delicious. Just starting a bit of a flower bed here because it's kind of like the first thing you see as you come in. So I planted loads of bulbs, but they've not really come up. So I've just started making a more traditional bed here, but I'd like to also plant a lot of herbs and things that you can actually eat and use or make tea from. Pansies are edible, so I sometimes chuck some in the salad. But
Got another stream reservoir thing going on here.
we have a bit of a stream that runs along the back here and then all along the vines and seems to go into the neighbour's well actually.
Yeah.
That one, isn't it?
Need to give it a bit of a clean, don't we?
Yeah, we've got a lot of land maintenance to do over the next couple of months. That's kind of the focus of the spring before it gets too hot and we don't want to do anything. And then we've got this random little nugget, we call it, of the land. So we'll be trimming back all this, unfortunately. I love all the flowers, but when it gets too hot, it turns into a fire hazard.
That's why we've held back for so long, isn't it? Because of all the flowers.
But down here is our beautiful cork oak.
The Cork Oaks, yes.
Yes.
I love them. I wish I had some on my farm.
Yeah, well, we've actually sold the cork on one of them. There was a tree surgeon doing some work cutting down some eucalyptus trees, and he stopped and asked if he could buy it. It's one of the really big cork tree. So we sold it for 40 euros.
40 euros.
Amazing.
So he's coming back in the summer to collect that because they only do it every 9 years, and it just happens to be this year.
Amazing.
Fortunate.
So you've already made some money off your farm. That's great.
So real farmers now.
Yes.
So this tree in blossom here we think is an apple.
Okay.
And then we've got this really strange, we don't know what it is. It could be plum or something.
Someone recommended plum, didn't they, or suggested plum?
Yeah.
Somebody else has suggested maple, but it doesn't look like a maple.
I don't know what it is.
So yeah, if anybody can identify it, it would be super helpful.
It's quite fairy on the underside.
Yeah, it's got really interesting twig formation there, especially if you look down there.
Okay.
Know these two?
Yeah, no idea what it is.
But it's growing quite prolifically out the ground.
Yeah, which makes us think it would have come from this, but it's very, very different.
Yeah, the leaves are so different, so that's the exciting thing.
We will see.
see. We've got more olive trees down here, but they're all a lot smaller, and the soil seems a lot drier here. So I think we're just going to kind of let this be wild and encourage some of the plants that are growing, which is like broom and lavender, because I think they like the sandy soil.
Very good for bees as well,
Yes.
and supporting bees.
Broom's very good for the soil. I think it's from the legume family.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So we only have a little bit. I think it was tilled here, but if you look next door, which hasn't been tilled for so long, you've got all the lavender and broom growing.
Exactly, yeah, all the broom and lavender.
Yeah,
Lovely.
It smells amazing.
You've got some nice pine trees here. I don't see any processionary caterpillar nests, so that's great.
One on the back of this one.
Oh, was there? Okay.
Yeah, but a very small one.
But normally you just see so many of them, and with your dog being so close to the ground.
Yeah, we were very careful. But we only saw them
Twice.
Well, twice on one walk.
On one walk.
That's the only.
And they were about 500 metres away from the closest pine tree.
Yeah.
So they walk.
Yes. So look at this. You've got this massive, massive cork oak. It's got to be, what, 20 metres? 25? 20?
Yeah.
That is a huge cork oak tree.
How big it is.
Yes. Well, wait, let me get closer so that the camera can actually see. So Carissa is about 10 foot tall. No. But wow, look at this, huh? Incredible.
It would be a good tree house tree.
It will, yes. And in summertime, the shade that you're going to get here, you know, as soon as the summer heat arrives, you're going to have those, you're going to have a month of intense heat.
Yeah.
And this is perfect.
So we'll come camp down here.
Yeah. This is where we saw the snake on our viewing. We have another snake. I think it's a ladder snake that we saw here.
Yeah.
Big brown one.
That made me jump.
Yeah.
But we've got loads of
Baby corks. Millions of them.
There's like literally probably 200 growing because there's so many acorns full.
So the acorns are just dropping on the ground and millions of these are just popping up. Wow. Yeah, so you guys have actually given me a couple of these and I'm planting these at the farm at the moment. And hopefully we're going to have a lot more cork oaks. Oh, that's lovely.
And then this is just the end where the wall comes round here.
It's a beautiful old stone wall.
Yeah.
It's turned into the most beautiful day.
Yeah, it's pretty much always beautiful.
Yeah. So you guys have you've done a fantastic job here. And what would you say to someone that's sitting in the city or, living in the sort of city life and wanting to get out and wanting to try and live a little bit more sustainably and cheaper?
Yeah, I guess just kind of come up with a plan and go for it. I think for us the big thing was sort of being able to work remotely because you always need some sort of income. So I guess that would be your first step is sort out how you are going to be able to fund it. But I think for us as well it was kind of a no-brainer because we were renting, which just eats up so much of your income, whereas like this plot cost us...
Yeah, well, we got a bit mardy back in the UK, didn't we? Because we were spending too much money on rent.
Yes.
And you don't really get much back for your rent.
Yeah.
So we worked out that we were roughly spending about £10,000 a year with rent and bills, council tax, etc. included. We got this property for less than that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just under €10,000.
Yeah.
And that was kind of our goal. We were like, we don't want to spend more than that because that's kind of like the challenge and to see a different life that you can live.
And the whole risk thing as well definitely played a part. You don't want to spend 40k on somewhere and then not like it after 6 months.
And you can't build, you don't have habitation, or it's not your thing.
Yeah. I think that would be one of the other things that we got lucky with, but definitely kind of research into things like that. We joined some of the local Facebook groups to the area and people were talking about these things, so that's how we learned like this is what you need. So I guess it's kind of find somewhere that appeals to you and try and scope it out, visit if you can, read it. Frankie's got something to say about it.
You will definitely be seeing a lot more of these two in some of our videos, especially as summer kicks in. Hopefully the lockdowns don't come back.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we really hope so. Yeah.
But even with the lockdowns, you've got a beautiful little bit of land, you've got your own space, you can grow most of your own food.
Yeah.
It's a nice escape.
I think that was the push, wasn't it? We were at home and,
we didn't have a garden.
Yeah, I think the pandemic has given a lot of people a real look at their lives and being like, you know what, actually, like...
What's important?
Yeah, what's important. And for me, that was a garden.
Yeah.
Space to grow stuff, so...
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thanks for appearing on the channel. And I've got to hop back on my bike soon and cycle back. I'll start editing this, and I'm going to see you guys soon.
Yeah,
nice.
Cool.
Excellent.
Thanks, Kat.
Amazing.
Cheers. Thanks. Ciao, everyone. Till next time.